The wait is finally over, Cowboys Nation, and trust me when I say the energy inside the Star in Frisco has shifted in a massive, undeniable way. We just witnessed the introductory press conference for Christian Parker, and the vibes coming out of that building are unlike anything we've felt in years. If you've been losing sleep over our defensive identity or wondering if this team actually has a plan beyond the same old, you need to lean in and hear what went down today. This isn't just a minor coaching change, it's a total cultural overhaul of how this organization operates. Before we dive into the explosive details of Parker's new-look defense and the technical mastery he's bringing to the table, do me a huge favor. If you are absolutely fired up about this hire and ready to see some real defensive dominance, smash that like button, share this with a fellow fan who needs some hope, and subscribe right now so you never miss a single update on our boys in silver and blue. Did you notice who wasn't in the room today? In a move that has the entire league talking and has sent shockwaves through the Dallas media landscape, Jerry and Stephen Jones were nowhere to be found. It was the Christian Parker and Brian Schottenheimer show, period. Think about that for a second. No corporate meddling, no owner stealing the spotlight, no Jerryisms distracting from the task at hand, just the football minds running the show. Is this the sign of a new era where the coaches actually get to coach without the corporate overlords hovering over every single syllable? It's a rhetorical question, but man, it feels good to see the focus back on the turf where it belongs. The coaching staff is officially locked in, and the Cowboys website actually did a massive mid-presser update while the cameras were rolling. Talk about a whirlwind. Christian Parker is officially your defensive coordinator, and he's leading a hungry, revamped group of teachers. We've got Marcus Dixon on the D-line, Jadara Yuzodir handling the outside linebackers, and Scott Simons taking charge of the inside linebackers. We've also got Derek Ansley as the passing game coordinator and DB coach, Ryan Smith in the secondary, Dimitri Brim as assistant D-line, and Robert Muschamp assisting the secondary. Interestingly, names like Tanzel Smart and Darren Thompson seem to be out, while J.J. Clark is the lone survivor as assistant linebackers coach. This staff is lean, mean, and hand-picked to fit a specific vision of modern football. Question of the day: looking at this defensive lineup and the departure of the old guard, what grade do you give this new coaching staff on a scale of A to F? Are you buying into the youth and the teacher mentality, or are you still skeptical? Drop your grade in the comments below. I want to see if you're as optimistic as I am. Now, let's talk scheme, because Parker just dropped some absolute gems that should have every opposing offensive coordinator in the NFC East sweating. He isn't boxing himself in or following a rigid playbook from 20 years ago. He explicitly said he wants to be multiple. We are talking 3-4, 4-3, and 4-2-5 looks all blended together. But here is the kicker: he confirmed the base will be a 3-4 by nature but with 4-3 spacing. For the film junkies out there, this means total creativity with gapping and fronts. We're going to see penny fronts, tight fronts, and even that split front style that has been making waves at the college level with guys like Mike Elko. When you look at the tape, a penny front is essentially a 3-3-5 look where you have 3 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers on the edges, and a nickel rolled down. It's about versatility. It's about being thick enough to stop the run but fast enough to erase the passing game. He mentioned 4-eye techniques, which is a very specific way of alignment where the defensive ends shade the inside shoulder of the offensive tackles. It's technical, it's modern, and it's exactly what this roster needs. Think about our monsters up front. We've got absolute game changers in Kenny Clark, Osa Odigizua, and Quinnen Williams. These guys are the engine room. They can play the 0 technique right over the center or the 4 technique on the tackles. They are versatile enough to wreck a game from any alignment. Parker is planning to blitz, to show different looks, and to keep quarterbacks absolutely guessing. While the base 3-4 might only be used about 30% of the time in the modern NFL, because let's face it, we live in a sub-package world now, the sheer variety of 3-2-5 and multiple looks we're going to see is going to be a nightmare for coordinators who try to predict our pressure packages. What really struck me, though, was the word Parker kept using: alignment. We've spent the last few years feeling like the front office, the offense, and the defense were all on different planets. The timelines didn't match, the philosophies clashed, and it felt like a house divided. Parker says there is finally total alignment on the goals and the path forward between him, Schottenheimer, and the rest of the staff. It's a tragedy it took this long to get everyone on the same page, but better late than never, right? Parker is a firm believer in the oldest truth in football: the game is won and lost in the trenches. He spent a significant amount of time praising the defensive line room. He's clearly enamored with the talent he has. When he talks about playmakers, he isn't just giving lip service to the stars. He praised Savon Revel and Darren Bland, specifically mentioning how much he valued Revel during his draft evaluations back when he was looking at him for other teams. These guys aren't just players on a depth chart, they are the cornerstones Parker plans to maximize. He wants to take their natural ball-hawk instincts and turn them loose in a system that actually supports them. Now, let's talk about the process, because this is where things get really interesting. Brian Schottenheimer revealed they did 40 total interviews. Think about the sheer volume of work that goes into that. They didn't just hire a friend of a friend or the first guy who said yes. They interviewed 9 different candidates for defensive coordinator and over 30 assistants. They looked for a specific archetype, a teacher. Someone intelligent, someone who doesn't need a script because he knows the game in his soul. Parker was on Schottenheimer's must-hire list for years based on the glowing reviews he got out of Denver. One of the most fascinating parts of the presser was the discussion on the nickel corner. In the past, people looked at the nickel as just a third corner. Not Parker. He described this role as a hybrid, part corner, part safety, part linebacker, and even an edge rusher when he blitzes. He wants a player with natural instincts, the kind of guy who would be the first overall pick in a neighborhood pickup game because he just knows where the ball is going. We still need to find that perfect fit for the nickel, but knowing Parker understands the gravity of that position gives me so much hope for the secondary. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your actual confidence level in Christian Parker right now? I'm leaning toward a high 8. Not just because of the schemes, but because of his poise. He doesn't pause to think about what he's supposed to say, he just knows the answers because he lives the game. He isn't trying to be a carbon copy of Vic Fangio, even though he's worked in that system. He's his own man. He made it clear, you build the scheme around the players. If they excel in man coverage, you play man. If they are zone hawks, you play zone. The best players aren't scheme-specific, and Parker is here to let them be great without the shackles of a rigid system. He wants to stop the run and impact the quarterback, the 2 pillars of winning football. It sounds simple, but as we saw with previous regimes, it's much harder to execute. Parker's focus on 4-eye techniques and 5-man front suggests we are going to be much more stout against those physical rushing attacks that have bullied us in the playoffs. He's looking for guys who can 2-gap when necessary but still have the explosive twitch to penetrate the pocket. The process has officially been improved. The search was exhaustive, the staff is hungry, and the coordinator is a brilliant teacher with a clear vision. Schottenheimer mentioned that every coach who made it to a second interview with the Cowboys ended up getting a DC job somewhere else. That tells you the caliber of talent we were looking at. We got the cream of the crop. Everything about today felt different. It felt focused. It felt aligned. No distractions, no Jerry Jones sideshow, just pure football talk and a commitment to winning. For once, the organization acted like a professional football machine rather than a marketing firm that happens to play sports. The results have to follow, of course, but the foundation laid today is the strongest we've seen in a decade. Christian Parker is the real deal, Cowboys Nation. He's young, he's sharp, and he's ready to turn this defense into a versatile weapon that can adapt to any opponent. Whether it's a high-flying passing attack or a ground-and-pound running game, this multiple look is designed to take away what the offense does best. The teacher element cannot be overstated. This staff is here to develop the young talent we've been drafting and turn them into all pros. So, as we head into the off-season moves and the draft, keep your eyes on the defensive front. Parker is already campaigning for defensive picks in round 1, and given his track record for scouting, we should probably listen. The nickel spot is still a question mark, and we need to see who fills those final roster spots, but the leadership is finally in place. The era of Christian Parker has begun. It's time to stop the run, hunt the quarterback, and bring that defensive swagger back to Big D. The process was much improved, the energy is high, and now, we just have to hope the results end up being even better than the press conference. Fingers crossed, Cowboys fans, this might actually be the year the defense takes that final leap.